Well, this certainly came out of nowhere. We'd known for some time now that Yuji Naka, Sonic the Hedgehog programmer extraordinaire, had been at Square Enix, but if you had told me before yesterday that he'd be teaming up with Naoto Ohshima's development studio to make this game, well, I would not have believed you. So yeah, this is Balan Wonderworld, or as me and my crew call it, Balan Wonderland. There have been a few cool Sega adjacent game announcements this week, such as the Phantasy Star Online 2 overhaul and the immensely Jet Set Radio inspired Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. But this is one of the most MykonosFan games I've seen debuted in quite some time. Balan Wonderworld seems extremely up my alley, though I'm leaving myself cautiously excited. Let's talk about it, because this game is juicing up every chemical receptor in my brain, and I need to just get it out of my system. So yeah, a Square Enix funded game that's essentially just a lost Sonic Team game from the turn of the millennium. If you're familiar with that era of platform action games, you'll recognize a lot of what's going on here, but the broadest strokes are that this game is basically Nights into Dreams meets Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, which is certainly an interesting omelet of an elevator pitch. Over the years, we've seen an influx of games where that general pitch is pretty similar. The creators of a thing you like are back, and they want to make another thing like the thing you like. More often than not, it doesn't turn out so well, but those ventures are more often than not done through crowdfunding platforms, as opposed to being directly funded by a company that loves to spend money like Square Enix. Helping make Balan even more unique from those recent retro revivals is that there just aren't many games that fit into the style Sonic Team used to make. Whether we look at this from a gameplay style or an artistic style, the reason Sonic Team's games were so memorable is that there just wasn't anything else like them. Even today, us forlorn Sonic fans will tell you that we keep coming back to Sonic with each new game because nothing else scratches that particular itch. It's the same for Nights fans, and while I'm sure they're much less vocal, it's similar for Billy Hatcher fans too. Unique to that studio's games were arcade influences seeping into the design. From mastering exploration of levels, to score and time attacking the levels to improve your skill, they promoted fun and flashy gameplay with simple mechanics and visually distinct environments, with characters that still attract the eye even decades later. So to see Naka and Ohshima teaming up to make what's basically another one of those is incredibly exciting to me. From what we've seen, it's so unabashedly one of those, too. Floating clocks, Ohshima's trademark huge-handed characters, bright and moody environments, enemies that feel a little too on the nose, and, well, Balan kind of creeps me out, but he absolutely fits the Nights design they're aiming to invoke here. The setup and world seems to ape from Nights the most, really, with the aim seeming to be an exploration of balancing positive and negative emotions by exploring and conquering fearsome environments and foes, a structure Nights did with aplomb. Indeed, the boy and girl with acrobatic slender character who has an evil doppelganger philosophy is beyond apparent here, and I'm honestly okay with that. The last time Sonic Team tried to invoke the magic of Nights again, it didn't go well, but I'm hopeful for this game to achieve that tone much more capably. While it's no graphical powerhouse, the environments already do an admirable job of capturing a Sega Saturn in HD vibe, with a bit of Sonic Lost World and Billy Hatcher sprinkled on top for good measure. And while it's much harder to comment on the music since we've barely heard any of it, in a video interview the composer seems very vulnerable and heartfelt, expressing a desire for players to hum the music and even sing along to the songs, which... oh, right. This game technically takes place at a musical theater. Oh boy, I hope that if these vocal songs are bad, they're at least ironically bad. That could really go either way. But hearing the man speak makes me believe that he believes in his passion, so that's at least a positive. While I'm here, I really have to give a shout out to this 10-minute long video that was put out. The final few minutes are just the trailer of the game again, but everything leading up to it is a very well done series of interviews with those working on the game that feels sincere and charming. It has that rare, feel-good quality that usually only Nintendo can manage in their best instances, and there's plenty of sneaky little things for fans of Naka and Ohshima to latch onto, so yeah, it was a delight to watch. But, yes, now we get to the but. I am cautiously excited for Balan Wonderworld. My hesitation to be fully excited for this game comes from quite a few sources, unfortunately, which I hope to express here in a non-negative way. The first of which is a simple one. I try not to get too excited for any game these days, just as a general principle, easy enough. But a reason specific to Balan is that the track record of Naka and Ohshima in recent years is spotty. Don't get me wrong, these men are icons of the gaming industry, responsible for some of my favorite games of all time. A large portion of Naka's recent game credits are either to 3DS Street Pass games, which, hey, I do love those games, but he just hasn't been in charge of a larger scale game in a while. Unless you want to count Digimon All-Star Rumble, which... let's be nice and not do that. Then when considering Ohshima, you have to also consider that he's brought his development studio Arzest along to aid development. You may not be familiar with Arzest or his previous studio Artoon, but you know their games. Artoon made games like Blinks the Time Sweeper, Yoshi's Island DS, and The Last Story, while Arzest rose from its ashes to work on titles like Yoshi's New Island and Hey Pikmin, games that are mostly average at best. Now in complete fairness, they've had their hand in better games too in recent years, but their batting average isn't the greatest. I share this not to put down their bodies of work, but to help temper my own expectations. But even that aside, the few snippets of gameplay we saw seemed stiff. Like, really stiff. The game features one-button action gameplay with over 80 costumes, which presumably all have their own unique move and potentially unique control style, and none of the ones we got a glimpse at seemed to handle particularly well. Most looked like they had a ton of focus on close or mid-range combat, while others focused on movement options like ground pounds, climbing, gliding, dashing, etc. A webpage description I saw indicated that there are 12 worlds in the game, and I'm assuming this is following Knights' structure and that the boy and girl will each have 6 worlds, and it's probably safe to assume each world will have at least 6 levels within, if not more. I just worry that the trap Balan Wonderworld falls into is the trap Sonic Team fell into in their mid to late 2000s. A need for a lot of artificial gameplay variety to pad out game length, out of fear that a consumer wouldn't find their purchase justified if the game was short. In reality though, most players would prefer a tightly focused, fantastic Sonic game that lasts 3 or 4 hours, over a middling Sonic game that drags itself on to 12 hours or more to complete. My ultimate hope for Balan Wonderworld is that they've landed on a character movement that feels natural and kinetic, with stages designed smartly around the abilities that can lead to a lot of player experimentation and strategy to finish them even more efficiently. From what we've seen, it's nailed everything it's going for stylistically and aesthetically, but it would break my heart for the gameplay to be the sole thing letting it down after they got everything else so right. Seriously, the passion in their eyes, as well as the light in my eyes as I watch this trailer and latch on to how every little thing seems to call back to their iconic bodies of work, it gives me so much hope. I really hope what we just saw was just gameplay that was seen too early to properly judge, and that when we finally get a proper gameplay demo, it'll all click. But these few things are what's keeping me cautiously excited for Balan Wonderworld. I don't want to rain on the parade. This immediately became one of my most anticipated games, and I will be there the day it releases in the hopes that this is everything I want it to be. But for my own sake, I just need to keep myself cautiously optimistic. So that's where I'm currently at with Balan Wonderworld. How do you feel about it? Is it ticking all the right boxes for you? Are you excited for this game? Nervous for it? Do you care at all? Scroll down to the comments and let me know, because I'm still convinced I'm going to wake up tomorrow and none of this will be real. If you're new to my channel and want to hear me talk more about Sonic Team from that era, I recommend going back and watching my video on Sonic Adventure from last year and why I still love it in spite of its age. Also, I was already planning to talk some more about some Sonic Team games soon, so make sure to subscribe if that grabs your interest. Anywho, thanks for dropping by. Thanks again to my patrons for supporting the channel, particularly Goldstormer7, Buggles Chucklo, G, Calico Plus, The Crazy Even, The Legend of Groose, Patrick Thompson, Sven Delega, and Wolf Chaoson. It is so hot in this closet, oh my god. Oh.